Lethal Company is a multiplayer indie horror game that blew up almost immediately after its release in October of 2023. The game was and still is widely loved for many reasons. It's great to play with friends.
Oh shit, we gotta go!
It has a lot of comedic slapstick potential.
A few seconds, hold it. Now.
Oh lord,
Okay, reset the day.
And it's still being updated, but there's one thing or several that brings everyone back to it. Before I get to that, let me give a tiny breakdown of the game. The premise of the game involves employees working for a nameless, comically evil company that tasks them with picking up scrap and loot left on desolate moons in their facilities. Except, these moons and facilities are never desolate. Hey, it's Nana Plays Games, aka MPG. Lethal Company's main appeal are its entities, the eerie, sometimes terrifying monsters you'll see throughout your time on a moon. Not every entity is deadly or makes you want to piss yourself, but a lot of them are and will. Today, we'll be going over each entity and be ranking them on how scary they are using a tier list, from cuddlebugs to absolute nightmares. With that little spiel done, let's get started. In passive tier, I'll be talking about entities that aren't dangerous or aggressive in the slightest, nor are they scary, so this will be short. Roaming locusts are a group of bugs that hang around different parts of the map, and they'll usually be located outside of facilities. They disperse pretty quickly once you approach them and don't attack you at all, so they're harmless. Still bugs though, so yuck. Manticores are just as harmless, but they're a lot bigger and look like cute little birds. Better than bugs. They're also pretty quick to flee once you get too close, so there's nothing to worry about there. The not so scary tier is a unique tier for one of the entities in the game that can kill you and might be scary to encounter, but are kind of harmless. Emphasis on kind of. Tulip snakes resemble tiny little crocodiles with wings, and aren't aggressive, at least in regards to attacking you. They're pretty aggressive in attaching to your head and flying you around the map like a functional propeller hat. If you're not aware of how to use them to your advantage though, and multiple attach to you, there's a chance to be flown off a cliff into a giant spinning set of blades, which can be scary. Not great, but they're nothing burgers compared to the other entities and won't hurt you as long as you know what you're doing. Moving on to our next tier, called the Could Be Scarier tier, we'll be actually getting to the entities that can actually kill you. Even so, they could do a little better in the scare department. Spore lizards, adoringly nicknamed spore doggies, are just that. Big old dogs that are pretty harmless as long as you don't get too close to them. They're pretty fearful creatures and don't react well to context, so they'll spray pink mist as a warning. It's pretty hard to see through, so if there are any other entities around, maybe this is a bit of a bad situation to be in. They're also able to bite you if you come too close, but this bite does little damage and won't kill you unless you're on critical health or something. The only reason why they're even here is because they have kill potential, though I've never been killed by one personally. Totally not scary and probably a good entity to see compared to the others. Hygrodairs, which I call the Goopar slime, are just that. They're a watery, slime-like entity that moves along the floors of a facility. Though they damage players on contact and are annoying due to how they may block entrances, seeing them is kinda like, that's it? That's what I should be scared of? The only reason they're even here is because it's a hazard when paired with a fast-moving entity. Super lame otherwise. Hoarding bugs, also known as yippee or loot bugs, are entities that take any drop loot and run off with it. They're usually non-aggressive unless you take something from them or get up in its face, but they can be a little scary when they get angry and start flying at you at Mach speed for no reason. Pair that with low health and it's a recipe for some heart-stopping moments. Circuit bees take refuge in hives located in random places on the map and are pretty aggressive to anyone that comes near them. They deal pretty heavy damage with their high voltage shocks and are pretty merciless when they have a target. They're also insanely defensive of their hives, which are worth a pretty penny if you're able to successfully snatch them. The only reason why I'm putting them this low is because they're optional, and players have the option to leave them alone if they don't want to look like this. Otherwise, they're kinda scary but aren't too much of a concern unless a player puts a hive in the ship or something. Snurflies are entities that cling to ceilings and dark or hard to see parts of the facilities, waiting for a player to go underneath them. When a player does, the Snurfly wraps itself around the player's head and suffocates them. They can be knocked off by signs or shovels, or they'll get off if the player exits the facility. Still, it's pretty shocking when you're not scanning and just get jump scared by a Snurfly falling from the ceiling.
Oh, shit!
Oh my god.
That, and if you're not with anyone or don't have a weapon, it's over. Which is more frustrating than scary, but it can be avoided. Baboon hawks are giant, bird-like entities that hang outside of the facility on the map and typically come in packs. When you're outside, by yourself, with 60 pounds of loot, they'll usually jump you and either force you to drop all your loot, fight, or die. There's nothing to be done but hope that someone else is near you and has a weapon, cause if not, it's over. And I've had the pleasure of trying to get past baboon hawks while also dodging forest giants and eyeless dogs, so kinda scary, but only if you're helpless or in a really bad situation already. The next tier is the appropriately scary tier, where entities are actually fairly scary and do their job of giving the player some grief. First in the tier is the Earth Leviathan, a giant worm-like entity that hangs underground. Their objective is to catch a player or players, rise out of the ground with little warning, and eat players and all their loot in one gulp. Though you can run out of the area of the Earth Leviathan's attack, this is assuming you're not too heavy or have stamina left. It's pretty scary to be walking around the map at night, trying to keep a low profile with dogs around, and you start hearing gurgling noises.
Shit.
The ground rumbles, starts to cave a little, your stomach drops, and if you're right over the Earth Leviathan, hope you didn't have anything good on you. There's no way to kill them, so pray you'll be okay. Bunker spiders are giant spiders located in the facilities on a map. You'll usually see their webs located around where they usually are, and they're quick to come when you so much as touch one. Not only are bunker spiders decently fast, they also deal devastating damage, putting you on critical with just one bite. Trust me, if you run out of stamina and you're in a dead end, or you're kinda dumb like me and get lost a lot, this will have you peeing yourself a little. Otherwise, whenever I have a weapon, they kinda just make me feel like this. The butler is one of the more human-like entities in the game, and is pretty passive at first. See, the butler is an opportunist. He only attacks you if you're alone or if you attack him first, and let's just say he gives you the UK special when he does.
This then, because I already have a little barely going on. Back up, keep running.
Jay, bro, I told you we couldn't take him.
Even when you have a weapon, he'll be stabbing so fast that it doesn't feel like a fair fight. And even if you do win, insects that resemble circuit beasts in both looks and ferocity will funnel out of his body. Even if you win, you still lose, so seeing these freaks around the map fills you with a specific type of dread that I can't describe. Eyeless dogs are blind, dog-like entities that roam in the outdoors and are usually the culprits for a lot of the funny clips found in Lethal Company compilations. Since eyeless dogs are blind, their hearing is impeccable and can hear anything that's above a pin dropping. Radio feedback, walking, running, talking, dropping loot, robotic toys, your loud-ass mechanical keyboard, anything gets them aggro. Even them walking into you will make it angry. And like a lot of the enemies you'll see after them, they one-shot. You can fight them, sure, but it takes quite a few hits to kill it, and they instantly kill you, so maybe this isn't a fight you want to be in. It's better to just be a little bitch and tiptoe your way to the ship, as it's not worth it to do anything else. The Barber is a purple, faceless, human-shaped entity that hops around facilities with a giant pair of scissors. They can be heard moving around the map pretty easily, as it sounds like someone dragging a chair across a hard floor. They're invisible to players until they're very, very close to them, and at that point they will also be able to see you. Backing or even running away is the best course of action, as coming into contact with their scissors ends in instant death. Hearing them move around the map, making odd noises, and not being able to tell exactly where they are is scary enough. But suddenly seeing them when you don't expect to and knowing you just grazed death is even more bone-chilling. It's a good thing they're fairly rare. Thumpers are legless, super aggressive entities located in the facilities on the map. They're insanely fast and can reach places that are above ground, so if you haven't found that out yet, you will. Like with what happened to me, I ran out of stamina and decided to jump on the railing, only for this beast to still bite me. He wants you bad, and with legs or not, he's not going to stop until he gets you. They do good chunks of damage when they bite you, and though you'll be able to outrun them, you can't outlast them forever. Being stuck deep inside a facility, not knowing where to go, out of stamina, and seeing one of these, I just quietly accept my fate. Runs here is exactly what it sounds like. You see these entities, and your first instinct will either be to freak out or book it in the opposite direction. Man-eaters, which I call the baby, is a small entity that needs a player's attention. When a man-eater first spawns, it'll attach and follow whoever it sees first, and that person will need to keep it happy in order to prevent it from turning into this. Quite the difference, huh? Making sure the baby is feeling loved and well taken care of is essential because if it's not, you'll be taking a quick trip to that life support offline screen.
Oh no, I'm out of here.
No.
Alright.
Wait, what is going on?
It blew up.
Yeah, no matter what, there's always a risk since the baby will cry for anything. Loud noises are made around it, it gets hurt, you hit an enemy in front of it, or just because it's bored. If it cries for too long, even if it's not all at once, the seconds will begin to pile on after a while, and after a set amount of seconds, after just a few crying sessions, it'll grow up. When you see it, pick it up, love it, and when it starts crying a little too much, you can't kill it, so good luck. Nutcrackers are, well, giant life-size nutcrackers that march around the facilities looking for players to kill. It'll march around a specific area, and after a random amount of time, it'll stop, raise its head to reveal an eye, and do a 360 scan of the room. If you're moving at all when it does this scan, even if it means moving your camera, I hope you're wearing a bulletproof vest because if you dropped right into your average American school. Nutcrackers pump any moving players and collateral damage for those shotgun shells, and it's pretty much an instant game over when this happens. Even when it's in its marching phase, if it touches you, or you it'll kick you to death. Seeing nutcrackers typically isn't a good sign, especially when you need to be moving for one reason or another. It's got a lot of bases covered as it's not ever really passive, so if you see it, do the opposite of what I do. Be better than me. The masked or mimics are entities that look like players that can roam around any part of the map in its pursuit of victims. The mimics either spawn by themselves or appear when a player puts on one of these masks, transforming them. Their objective is to infect other remaining players and be actual menaces. Mods make them way more terrifying as they'll actually mimic players' voices and won't wear masks like this.
This way.
Stairway left and they're going towards elevators.
Is that? Stop. That's not him. That's not him.
Oh my god, I'm just in it.
This way.
Ayana.
I'm right here.
On Jay and Ayana.
Well, don't follow him. That's not
be
him.
dressed as...
Oh no, I'm dead. Get the cat.
I cannot turn it off, it's not marked.
But that's not really a factor in this video. I don't know what it is, but there's something really terrifying about an enemy that looks human running after you. Especially since the mimics can pretty much go anywhere and there's really no solid way to get rid of them unless you kill them. There's this person I play with sometimes that wears a mask that looks like a mimic, and after a few times of getting scared by them, I stopped reacting. Only right when I decided I'd stop reacting to them, I got caught off guard by an actual mimic and died. Let this be a lesson to always be paranoid.
Flees this way, hurry up. What the fuck? I'm done. No! That's... What the fuck? I asked you, gotta leave. Teleport right now. Tell her to teleport. Teleport!
The Brackens are shadowy entities that appear to be almost human-like in their appearance. They're capable of moving in near silence and specialize in sneaking up behind unsuspecting players and snapping in their necks.
Okay, give me a sec, because...
When you do turn back just in time to catch it, Brackens are quite shy creatures, so they'll retreat upon being spotted, but that's not all. If you stare for too long after it's in its stare-done mode, or if its anger meter is full, it'll get angry and decide to kill you. Even if it's not you that encountered him or made him aggro, if you're the first person it grabs, or you make the mistake of glancing at him just once when he's on the brink of a crash out, you're the one getting your neck snapped. Someone else could have made direct eye contact with him while in stare-down mode, getting him right to his boiling point, and ran away. You encounter him right after this and it's curtains for you. Because Brackens kill instantly, you don't want them to be chasing you, and even outside of that, they're pretty scary. Anytime I'm walking down corridors, I scan, shine my flashlight, and look behind myself pretty frequently. Having something quietly snatch you into the darkness instills a kind of fear that's honestly pretty impressive. Finally, welcome to our last and most hellish tier, appropriately called the shitting and crying tier. In this tier, you'll be seeing entities that make you want to take a pistol and... Ghost Girl is a ghost entity that appears very rarely, but when she does appear, people may or may not start to drop like flies. Typically, she'll appear before a singular player, and if the player stares at her, she'll disappear and begin haunting them soon afterwards. The trick is to not look at her at all, and if she comes after you, try your best to get somewhere safe. She also can't be killed, which will become kind of a theme in this tier. I recall that the first time I encountered her, I made direct eye contact with her and stared at her until she disappeared. Right after this, I had an oh shit moment where I suddenly realized I wasn't supposed to do that. Seeing her happily skipping towards me knowing she'll instantly kill me if she touches me fills my heart with the kind of dread only felt by soldiers on the front lines. Whenever my friends and I are playing, she usually haunts me first, so I was able to get clips like this.
I mean, we can go back in, but like...
No, it's not possible. Jester's gonna just hunt us down. It kind of ruins the
I can
day.
stay
Like,
here.
No, he resets
We can only-
whenever he resets.
He does reset.
Yeah,
He reset?
What was that? What happened? What the fuck happened?
Oh. Ghost Girl? She said she was being
Oh,
haunted.
Ghost Girl. Yeah, she looked at her.
If you see her, pretend you didn't. Coil heads are tall, mannequin-like entities that have long coils for a neck. Coil heads are insanely aggressive and move at the speed of light when they see an opportunity to kill a player. See, coil heads will not move or attack players when at least a single pair of eyes are on it, but once that's not the case, it'll move very quickly towards its target. It inflicts critical damage to healthy players if it doesn't outright kill them. It is the main enemy you don't want to see during a run because you can't kill it. Not only are they scary enough by themselves, but having to back your way away from them while also having to worry about other enemies that are opportunistic like the Bracken is terrifying. The way they move is so abrupt and jittery, like they're just waiting for you to look away so they can tear you apart. Gives me the shivers every time. Old birds are giant, robotic entities located outdoors. They're usually inactive when you first arrive at a moon, but this can quickly change as the hours pass by. When active, old birds patrol the map in search of anything to kill, quickly turning it to a burnt crisp with its missiles. They don't move too quickly, but due to their size it may feel that way, and when it spots you, it'll try its best to make quick work of you. In situations like this, you have to hide out anywhere out of its line of sight, and due to how fast they can kill you, it's nothing short of horrifying. That's not the only thing though. The sounds they make are effing mortifying, like a baby being put in a blender, but somehow 10 times worse.
There's no one to help.
My God. What in the F?
Are they all dead?
They're all dead.
If multiple are active at the same time, I hope you have people to distract them for you. Forest Keepers are giant entities that are very hostile and really scary. They not only have amazing eyesight, but can keep up with players and take advantage of their large size. Forest Keepers will only appear outdoors, but it's very possible for them to crawl right out of the ground in front of you. It happened to me. Not fun. They're really creepy looking, like they're up to no good, and chase you with their arms outstretched, ready to snatch you up like a curious toddler picking up a toy. It's even more eerie that the ambience of the game changes when a Forest Keeper is looking for you and when it spots you and is in pursuit. Even when it picks you up to eat you, there are sick crunching sounds and the entity making weird deep grunts as it chomps on your body. With the Forest Keeper around, making it back to the ship may not be enough. If you're not deep enough inside, it will still grab you and it's over. It's not unkillable, but it's definitely not easy. When you see it, say good luck or good night. Now onto what I believe is the scariest, most bone-chilling entity in the game, the Jester. Jesters are entities with a music box for a body and human arms and legs for appendages. When you first see it, you may think it's cute, following you around, not moving when you don't move, but then it starts cranking. It starts playing Jack-in-the-Box music, and as the seconds tick on, you get a feeling deep in the pit of your stomach that something isn't right. You assume that you don't want to be there when it finishes winding, and you'd be correct. Seeing a Jester anywhere in a facility can be a run-ender, and when it pops, you don't want to be anywhere near it. If it does, it'll immediately know where every player is in the facility and will run towards the closest one, getting faster and faster the longer it runs. Very soon, it'll be quicker than any player running at max speed, and it kills upon contact. Of course, there are two ways to avoid this. Number one being to immediately leave the facility upon seeing it. Two would be to have really good communication with your playmates and make sure you're all out of the facility so it can return to its passive phase. So long as no one's in the facility, even if the Jester has finished winding, it'll return to its first phase and go back into its box. One time when I was playing, I opened the doors to dine, picked up some loot, saw a Jester walking towards me, and when I tell you the air left my lungs, it looked a little like this.
Jester!
Where?
Jester!
Oh.
Freebird!
He's
chasing me!
He really is chasing me.
Or the other time when a Jester began winding and my boyfriend and I were mega lost in the mines.
That was literally a lefty. That's what that.
If you're chilling or you're already in a bad situation and see a Jester, just know it's about to get much worse. That'll be it for my tier list of the Lethal Company entities. Each entity is unique and interesting in their own way, but you gotta admit that some of them are a little more interesting in the horror department. I've been playing a lot of Lethal Company and watched a lot of other tier lists, so I thought it'd be fun to do my own. Let me know what you think, and maybe even show me your tier list or what entity you think is the scariest. Make sure to like and subscribe. This is MPG, I'll catch you later. Peace!